What is gratitude? Why do we need it? And what does it do? Are the questions that we are going to be answering in today's video. Hi, hello, my name is Katie May, and I am your guide to building a brand based on authentic connection. Today, we wanted to talk a little bit more about gratitude. It's kind of one of those hot words that you see a lot on like social media. You see it in a lot of self-help posts, like feeling sad. Be grateful, And I think a huge piece of the puzzle that people are not really explaining and not really showing is what gratitude is, why it works, and how you actually use gratitude in your life. So let's break it down. What is gratitude? In my experience, gratitude has been a simile to the word love. When I'm grateful, I feel like I am in love with the world, in love with myself, and in love with the people around me, even at the times that I'm not necessarily happy with the actions or what's going on in my life at those times. Gratitude is this unique ability to be super duper mindful about what you're feeling, what you're thinking in the moment, and actually taking control of it. Just like anything else, it's a habit that's built over time, and the more times that you exercise this part of your brain that uses gratitude, the more that it's just an instant reaction to situations. So anytime that you're taking information in, whether it's through any of your five senses or even just like your emotions, which is something we don't talk about enough, we have some sort of outside influence that's a trigger, right? We smell something and we're like, that's a scent, right? We feel something, we're like, that's an emotion. We maybe see something or hear something and we're like, I'm seeing this, I'm hearing this. And all of it is pretty subjective on the outside, right? And then that triggers something else, which usually leads into what you think and kind of more of what you feel, right? A lot of the times for me, one of my big triggers is I get anxious a lot. My anxiety usually resides in the top part of my belly. So if I'm experiencing something that's out of the ordinary or maybe is really similar to something that I've experienced in the past that hasn't had great outcomes before, I'll feel this tension and almost like a tingling in the top parts of my belly. And I label that as feeling anxious. And because of the label that I have towards this feeling, I will typically, I've gotten better at it with time, but typically I'll kind of spiral into it being like, this is affirmative anxiety. But how do I actually know that it's anxiety, right? And the more that I be mindful and build this connection with my mind, body, and soul, the more I realize that there's other emotions that reside in the same space in my belly that are actually really positive, right? Usually anxiety has like kind of a negative aspect to it, or when people are grateful for their anxiety, it's like, oh, it like kept me out of these really, really crappy situations, which is really the point of anxiety, is just saying, hey, remember last time we were in a situation like this, it didn't lead so good, so be hyper aware of your surroundings to ensure that we stay safe, right? Your body's goal all the time is to stay safe, where your goal as a person a lot of the times is to stay happy. And a lot of those times, those two things conflict. So how can we still feel grateful in the times that we are super anxious, right? How can we still feel grateful whenever we're going through these spirals of emotion? And what does that do for us over time? I can really only speak from my experience and the experience of the people that I have learned from, which has been a lot of authors and some YouTubers in my experience. They're business owners too. They're not just YouTubers. But a huge part of it all has been, you recognize the emotion. Usually the label that comes with it is immediate. So I feel this emotion because I observed something, and so I label it as anxiety, right? So now in my mind, my perspective says affirmative anxiety is in my body, okay? So what do I usually do with anxiety? Well, it usually leads to you fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, right? And a lot of the times it's not the same reaction to every scenario. It'll be sometimes a combination of some of those reactions, and sometimes you'll have a mix of all of the reactions at different times, right? But the more that you create this mindfulness around, okay, I have this affirmative anxiety from my perspective, and now I see the next step is I freeze, I don't take action anymore, I feel fearful, so I decide it's safer to stay where I know it's comfortable, in this little bubble, in this little box, which is totally fine, totally valid. There's a legitimate reason that you do feel that, right? And then, but because of this fear response, because of this fawn or this freeze and this anxiety, because of the connection between it, you're actually missing out on a lot of opportunities. You're missing out on a lot of just great blessings that are trying to make their way into your life, but blessings only come in when you take the appropriate action, right? So the more that you can start to recognize this chain of events that happens in your life, the more that you can like be at the end of this cycle and be like, you know what, I've done this before. These emotions that I'm feeling, super valid. I'm really, really grateful for them. But I do not know if this is affirmative anxiety, right? I don't know if this is legitimate fear, right? So then you can kind of break it down. Like, physically, I'm not in danger. Emotionally, as of right now, I'm well taken care of. And just kind of going through, some people have different mental checklists, but just whatever you know makes you feel safe and secure, right? So maybe that's like getting some food, getting a cup of tea, and after you do that, taking an action towards this thing that's making you scared, okay? So if jumping off of a cliff is the thing that makes you scared right now, there are certain risk factors that are associated with it, right? So it's something you do have to still be aware of, that fear is there for a reason. Anxiety is there for a reason. And the process of bringing more gratitude into your life about taking care of yourself, ensuring that you feel safe, will make you feel more confident to take action in the places that are scary but necessary for you to take action in, right? Jumping off of a cliff may not change your life for the better, right? It might do something for the worse in case you hit something that you don't know about at the bottom, you don't jump far enough away. There's lots of factors, right? And if you're not properly educated and trained beforehand, there's a lot of things that can go wrong. However, maybe something else that scares you is actually investing in yourself with your time and your money, right? Anybody can hop on YouTube, anybody can watch all of those YouTube things, but not a lot of people will continue to invest their money into themselves to gain more knowledge, to gain more resources, so that they can share that with other people. I believe that everybody has a little voice inside of them that has a bunch of creative ideas and so many like adventures that they want to go on that will not only benefit them, but benefit the people around them. And the more that we can hone in and tap into those blessings that we've been given, the more that we know what actions we need to take that are scary, but we can actually start to take them. So gratitude is the ability to make yourself feel safe in an environment that you feel anxiety in, right? So you feel the anxiety, you go through this whole thing, and you're like, you know what? I'm grateful for these emotions. These emotions are so valid and they have protected me for so long. However, in this certain scenario, these emotions are holding me back, and I still have love for them. I still have gratitude for these emotions, but right now it's like leading me down these negative cycles that I no longer want to be a part of, because it's not keeping me safe anymore. It's actually holding me back from things that will actually make life a lot more manageable and easy to live by. So then you go on this adventure of really validating and feeling grateful for these emotions while still making the necessary changes. And the more that you're able to be like, you know what, I'm feeling anxious and scared right now, I need to do something to take care of myself. You can sit down, take some deep breaths, tap into your body and be like, what do you need right now? And it's usually really, really simple things. Getting water, getting a warm cup of drink of your choice, you know, eating a salad, eating vegetables has been a big one for me recently. Like, I'm like, why do I feel so anxious? And then I'll sit down and my body will be like, get a bell pepper. So I'll go eat a bell pepper. Then I'm not like anxious anymore. And I'm like, that was weird, but thanks for letting me know what you needed, you know, because it's just like learning a new language. If you're learning Spanish or ASL or coding, you know, it's learning a new language to communicate, but with your body. And that connection is so valid and so real. And the more that we're able to tap into it and the more that we're able to understand and build this connection with ourselves, the more that we can recognize what we need to do to take care of our bodies. So a lot of the times, if you're trying to like tap into these emotions, but you're continuing to belittle these emotions, oh, I can't believe I feel scared right now, I just need to take action towards this thing, like I know I need to do it, you know, your body will kind of shrink away, your emotions will shrink away and be like, ooh, she's angry at me for communicating again, like I'm not going to communicate anymore until it's really necessary because now I feel bad about it. But that's why gratitude is important, because it's giving your body a safe space to be like, I have a place here, I can reside here, I can communicate freely. Like, it just wants to be validated and heard. It doesn't need, your emotions don't need actions and reactions taken against it. It just wants to be validated and heard by you. And the more that you can build this connection based on gratitude with yourself, the more freely your body will talk to you, and the more easily you'll be able to understand all of these little things, right? So gratitude is action, right? You can sit here and tell yourself how grateful you are for all of these things, but if you are not taking an appropriate action afterwards to solidify to yourself that you are actually grateful about these things, you're not going to build the right foundation to actually feel grateful. And there's a lot of the times where my only action for gratitude is writing myself like a little love note, you know, making sure that I have a water bottle filled up for the day, you know, whenever I'm feeling super anxious about something, making sure I have an appropriate amount of time beforehand for me to plan and do whatever I need to do to make sure that I'm taken care of for the next day, to make sure that I have plenty of time to wake up slowly and wash my face and brush my teeth and eat my food, making sure that I am taken care of. And the more gratitude I'm able to bring into my life, the more accountability I can take into my life, and the easier my life becomes over time. And a huge part of this that I feel like not enough people express and stress and understand is this is a roller coaster, right? This is not about starting here and finishing here, okay? This is about going through the ups and downs and the loop arounds and the switchbacks and the huge ups and the huge downs. Like, there's gonna be weeks or even months where you're like, man, I got this gratitude thing on lock. Like, this is going great. This is going amazing. I'm so brilliant. I'm so lovable. Not only am I loving myself, but I'm loving myself so much that I'm able to overfill and give that love to all these people around me. I feel like throwing like $100 bills at a bunch of people right now, you know, and you feel that way for a while, and then you come on the down end and you're like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know what happened. I was being so good about it, and now I'm like sleeping in for 2 hours. I'm not packing my lunches anymore. I'm not drinking enough water. And it doesn't mean that you did anything wrong or you did anything different. A huge part of this life is understanding that you can't start here and end here, because your life is all over the place, and it's supposed to be that way, right? You're not supposed to have it all figured out. You're supposed to kind of turn down this way and be like, oh, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I thought it was going to be. Like, my bad. Let me get back this way, you know, and figuring out where that middle ground is for you. But as you go this way, your emotions are going to go the other way, and they're going to crisscross. And sometimes they'll be together, and sometimes they'll go back and forth again. And they're just like doing a little dancey dance with each other, you know? And so the more that you can understand that it's a roller coaster, it's a dance, like, this is about the journey, really not the destination, because you can die at any time. Like, if you die tomorrow and don't have it all figured out, like, there's not much else you can do by that point. And so just understanding that each day is an opportunity to learn a little more, to love a little more, and to grow a little more, the more gratitude that you can bring into your life and be like, you know what? If I die tomorrow, I did the best that I could today to bring in gratitude into my life. And maybe the best you do today isn't the best you can do from 3 days from now, right? But just because your best looks different doesn't mean you didn't try. Okay? If you can go to the gym for an hour today, but you can only go to the gym for 20 minutes 3 days from now, you did your best. That is all that is ever required from you. That is all that is ever needed from you on a day-to-day basis. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I had to learn and come to terms with on my own journey of life. And I learned that from Marshall Goldsmith. He wrote a book called Triggers. And he talked about doing your best. It kind of felt like James Clear's Atomic Habits, but like written by a grandpa. Like a really nice, like lovable, stern grandpa, right? He loves you, but he's also gonna hold you to an expectation because he wants to see this growth and this love and this happiness come out of your life. And he's gonna hold your hand and walk with you on this journey. So if you haven't checked it out, Triggers by Marshall Goldsmith. Love the book. I digress. So gratitude is just validating and responding to your emotions just within yourself, and then taking an action based on that gratitude instead of based off of the emotion that you're feeling, so that you can get one step closer to your goals that are going to help the people around you, right? And then once you start to build this habit of gratitude over time, you're going to recognize that those things that used to trigger you into anxiety before, now it triggers you into feeling gratitude just right off the bat. The exact same way that you labeled that thing anxiety, now you're labeling it gratitude. Now you're labeling it excitement, okay? It's going to take a while, okay? Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, you have to be a little bit more patient with yourself and loving with yourself and grateful for yourself going on this journey. And understand that, like, you're not a race car. It's not gonna be 0 to 100 in 1 week, okay? Like, you're walking right now. You're not in a race car, you know? You have to walk the journey. You have to walk the walk, talk the talk, and really practice this effort of gratitude. And there's gonna be some days where you're gonna look around and you're gonna be like, F this. I don't wanna feel grateful today. I worked so hard. I'm so tired of like being happy, of being grateful, and all this crap. You're gonna get triggered by the littlest of things. People are gonna set you off, and you're gonna be like, I cannot deal with you right now. I am so emotionally overwhelmed by everything. Like, I just need you to stop, right? And a lot of the times when you practice this gratitude and you're building this connection, a really cool part of it, at least in my experience, has been that I'm able to more effortlessly communicate my needs and expectations to the people around me, which is really nice. And I'm also able to understand what needs and connections I do have, which is like double nice. Because before, like, people would be like, what do you need? And I'm like, I don't know. Everything's just crazy right now, you know? And now I can look around and be like, everything's crazy, but these are the top 3 things that I need right now. And there's a lot of other habits. There's a lot of other practices that go along with getting to that point. But I think gratitude as a good foundation was the best. So gratitude is an action. The why gratitude? Because it helps you associate new triggers to the environments that you're experiencing, which overall improves the quality and happiness in your life. It's never 100% of the time going to be that way,
we're human. It's understandable. And how do you practice gratitude? Well, you take a moment, you be mindful. You're like, you know what? This is how I'm labeling this emotion. This emotion is really helpful in a lot of circumstances, but I don't know if it's helpful right now. So I'm gonna do something that helps me take care of myself, that helps me feel safe, and then I'm going to take a necessary action that's maybe a little bit scary right after, building that environment around you that does feel safe, okay? So gratitude, super duper important. Love gratitude. Yeah, so tell me something that you want to do this week that's going to help you feel more grateful, that's going to help you feel more safe and more loved in your body, in your home, in your workplace, whatever that looks like for you. For me, it's going to be drinking water. I feel like the thought of it is just like, oh, that's such a hassle. And then when I actually do it, I'm like, wow, like I really love that I'm helping taking care of myself. So drinking water is the big one for my week. So let me know what your week is going to look like, and I will see you guys next time. If you're looking for a little bit more help on how to build a brand based on authentic connection, definitely click the link in my bio. I offer free one-on-one Zoom calls for about an hour long. In this, we're going to go over what your brand is, what your personal values, beliefs, and actions are going to be, and then we're going to create 2 action steps that you can take today to start to build the brand of your dreams. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace.